What is going on, everybody? This is your man, Big B, Brian Hanley, and welcome to Steelers Almighty. Appreciate everybody being in here. Man, day 4 of Steelers training camp is in the books. We've got some news and notes on some things that happened today. Big news. Big news. Unfortunately, our man Broderick Jones leaves practice early with appears to be a growing injury, soft tissue. Mike Tomlin said he's day to day. Lord have mercy. We'll get into that. Roman Wilson has taken every rep at wide receiver 2. He is outside. The Steelers are saying, look, Roman Wilson, you want a job? You want this job? We're giving you every opportunity to win it. He hasn't taken a slot snap in the last 2 days. So anybody questioning what the Steelers are doing there, that's what they're doing. And ROC Taylor has made a sighting. After 3 days of basically nothing, our man ROC Taylor came alive today in team and 7-on-7 drills. So we'll discuss all of that and more. Look, we appreciate everybody being in here. Thank you guys as always, man. Members will be shuffling in as we go. We appreciate it. I want your comment, question, rant up on the screen. Super chats are wide open, so you know exactly what to do if you want to help support the channel that way. We appreciate you. Let's get into this, ladies and gentlemen. So, Broderick Jones, I don't know, man. Gets hurt early in 7 shots, 2 snaps, gets hurt. It appears to be a growing injury. They haven't said anything as of yet, and it's a problem. It's a problem. How you doing, Tom? We appreciate you being in here, man. Yeah, it's first off, the Steelers don't have great depth at offensive line in general, but especially at tackle. They don't have great depth. And for Broderick to go out with a soft tissue injury this early in camp, even before pads, before we really get going, is a problem. Oh, by the way, did I mention that Isaac Seumalo's still out? I mean, we haven't even mentioned his name because he's still out. So the left side, the projected left side of the Steelers' offensive line is currently out. Now, they say day to day. They said Isaac Seumalo was day to day. You haven't even seen him. Like, no mention of him at all. Is Broderick going to be in the same boat? I would bet that the conversation, they're not going to be able to just leave it at nothing with Broderick Jones because, first of all, he's a former first-round pick, playing left tackle, gigantic year for him. They're not going to just be able to say, they'll be asked about him every single day that he's not out there, every single day. So they have a day off tomorrow. But if we're being honest, I don't suspect that Broderick Jones is going to be out on the field for the next week. You know, if what they're saying is true. I mean, if it's a growing strain, I would suspect him to be out at least a week. At least a week. If he comes back quicker than that, great. But do you really want to rush him back? I guess is the question. You know, he hasn't looked spectacular, but again, it's so tough to judge offensive linemen with no pads on. I mean, you can't get your blocking fits. I mean, it's so difficult to be able to do that with an offensive lineman right now. But the way that I see it is that I just don't suspect him coming back for at least a week. If it's, you know, this growing soft tissue, whatever the case may be, it'll be interesting to see. But to say it's not disappointing, it would be an understatement. Or to say it's disappointing, I guess, would be an understatement because I think we were all hoping, and maybe it was more of a hope, but, you know, you don't blame people for being injured. You never blame somebody for getting hurt. But this ain't helping, Broderick. This ain't helping your case, man. This is not helping your case. And I know you didn't want to get hurt, but damn it, this isn't helping your case. You know, But the Steelers can't rush him either. They can't just say, hey, you got to go back out there. And, if he's hurt and he can't perform, a soft tissue injury, they just don't get better immediately. That's not how this works. So you got to give him some time. And I don't know. I mean, there's free agent tackles that are still out there, but I mean, we all know if you're a free agent tackle that's still available, there's a reason you're still available. Somebody asked me earlier and was asking about Jedrick Wills. He was the former left tackle for the Cleveland Browns. And first off, Wills has said that he's sitting out the 2025 season because, so he can get his body healed. He's been banged up the last couple of years. He's got a bad knee. He's taking the year off. But even at that, y'all think Broderick Jones was bad or you think Dan Moore was bad. Jedrick Wills, his entire career has been horrible. Hell, watch him play against us. I mean, that man is a turnstile. So that was not the answer. That was not the answer. So Vegas doesn't have a good feeling that Broderick. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see. But the thing that I know, he's got to try to get healthy. Hopefully his body heals quickly and he can get back out there fairly quickly, because if not, they're going to move Troy Faetanu to left tackle. If this is like a 3 or 4 week thing, I'm pretty sure the Steelers are going to say, we're going to move Troy Faetanu to left tackle and then move on. And sorry, Broderick. Sorry. Hey, we had to move on, man. We had to move on. So, and then that'll be the end of it for Broderick, because the Steelers aren't going to wait for him. They're not. They're not going to do that, man. And, it is what it is. It is what it is. That's scary to me. That's scary. But I just have a feeling that if this is like a 3 to 6 week type of a deal, the Steelers will say, you know what? Troy can play left tackle. Hell, he played it in college. Now he prefers right, but he literally played left tackle in college. This is a different situation than, Broderick Jones. You know how Broderick Jones, well, he was right tackle. He never played right tackle before. So that was something new his rookie year. He had never played it. Troy Faetanu was an All-American at left tackle. He just prefers right tackle because he had played both. So I'm just saying that. I'm just saying. I feel bad for Broderick, but man, he's got to hope that his body responds to treatment pretty quickly, because, like I said, depending on what it is, and again, we don't actually know what it is because the Steelers don't have to say just yet. This is not the regular season. They don't have to just come out and tell you what the injuries are just yet. So they haven't. It's just like Isaac Seamont. They haven't said what his injury is because they don't have to tell us just yet what those injuries are. So it's just a soft tissue. Okay. So we'll see. We will see. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. But I just, the one thing that I do know is that if this is a 3 to 6 week deal, the Steelers will move Troy Faetanu to left tackle and they'll move on. Oh, yes, Ninja, you're exactly right. Dylan Cook should be the starter at right tackle. If that happens, that's exactly what will happen. Spencer Anderson is not the guy. Neither is Calvin Anderson. Dylan Cook will be there, and the Steelers will move on. And that will be unfortunate because they're not going to make a change like in the middle of Broderick's healthy, we're just going to bring him back. If Troy Faetanu looks good at left tackle, the Steelers are going to leave him at left tackle. I can assure you of that. They are not going to just sit around and say, yeah, this guy looks great at left tackle, and we don't even know what Broderick can do at left tackle. Let's move this guy that looks great there just so we can see what Broderick has. They are not going to, and they shouldn't do that. They shouldn't do that. No, I'm sorry. You had your opportunities. And again, we don't blame anybody for being hurt, but this is a business and it's a performance-based business. And if you're not available, you know what they always say, that old tired cliche, but it always holds true. The best ability is availability. And if you're not available and somebody takes your spot and they look good, I mean, what do you want them to do? Just, hey, Broderick, I know this guy's look great in your spot, but we're not gonna play him there. We're gonna take it away. Let somebody else do it. So that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. So Vegas, yes. Anderson had 2 snaps last year. One looked bad, the other looked even worse. You couldn't have said that even better. One was a run play where he just got dominated. The next one was a pass play. He gave up a sack. I'm like, Jiminy Christmas. So Calvin Anderson is not the answer out there. No. So we'll see, though. We'll see what happens. Hopefully, and I'm saying all this about Broderick, hopefully that he gets healthy. Hopefully it's a 1 to 2 week thing and he can come back quick, and get back out there. Hell, who knows? Broderick may lie to him. Broderick doesn't appear to be a dumb guy. You hear him speak, you hear some of the stuff. He doesn't appear to be a dumb guy. Broderick may lie and say, nope, it feels fine. It feels fine. I'm fine. Because he realizes, hey, man, I can't miss time. I got to get out here and prove I can do this. Now, a lot of times that hurts you in the long run because if you're not healthy, but who knows? Who knows? Let's just hope for the best with Broderick Jones. Let's just hope that he's not injured long term and that this is something that is just more of an aggravation than an injury, if that makes sense. He aggravated a groin or a quadricep or whatever it was. He aggravated it versus it just being injured. Because if it's just aggravated, you can fight through that. Injured, that becomes a little bit more tough. Not that you can't fight through it, but early in training camp is not necessarily the time that you need to be trying to fight through a growing injury. Not in my opinion. Now, some may disagree, and maybe you disagree because Broderick's got a big year. He's got to prove he can be a starter. I'm not going to argue with you about that. I'm not going to. But I just don't believe this is the time that he should be doing that. So we'll see. We'll see. So, Ragu, what's going on, man? We appreciate you being in here, man. My man Tom says Broad may have lost his final chance of being a starter. Let's hope not. Let's hope not. So, my man Nick says that Broderick will be moved to guard. Maybe. I mean, it's sad because I don't want to get, because he's so talented, but you know what? If you don't get it done, you don't get it done. So, my man Somber, what's going on, man? How you doing? How are you doing? We appreciate you being in here. So we'll see with Broderick Jones. Again, went down with a soft tissue injury early in practice today. Didn't come back. Looked discouraged. He looked frustrated and discouraged. At first, he was walking with his own power. Now, the reports, some say he was limping. Some say that he wasn't. I mean, if he's not practicing on Tuesday, we'll know a little bit more about how serious this thing is, whether it was just an aggravation because they have tomorrow off. So we'll find out a little bit more. Mr. Dodd with the super chat here. Leonard says, this is money-making season for Broderick. Not starting good at all. No, it's not. And it's unfortunate. And it is unfortunate. So, Andrew, you don't have to be sorry about being late, man. You're here. That's all that matters. Kelly says Broderick can get lazy on some plays, I think. Yeah, he can get lazy on some plays. You're exactly right. So let's just hope he's not injured, people. Let's hope that. Because again, we never hope anybody gets injured. So and it's early enough to where he can come back, but we'll see. We'll see. Um, I want to see. I want to see him win the job, and I want to see him play well because I want all Steelers to play well. So I don't care who you are. Vegas said he'll limp even when he's hurt. His arm look. Nah, we're not gonna do that, Vegas. We're not gonna do that. You know. But I mean, because basically now what you're saying is you don't think he can play, and if you don't, that's fine. I just don't get into wanting to embarrass somebody or not necessarily embarrass them. I don't need to call people names. I don't need to do that. So it is what it is. I appreciate you though. And Joseph is right. They're going to give Broderick every chance. He's a former first rounder and moved up. The Steelers are not going to give up on him just because he got injured in camp. They'll give up on him if he can't play for 3 to 6 weeks and Troy Fautanu looks great. Now, they might move him from positions, but they'll give up on him at left tackle. Best you believe, Joseph. They will 100% do that. If he's going to be out for 3 to 6 weeks and they have to move Troy Fautanu over to left tackle and Fautanu looks great, Broderick Jones will be moving positions. I can assure you of that. Assure you of that because there's no reason for them not to. I mean, what would they be doing then? And if they don't do that, say they move Broderick back in there and then he looks stupid, then we can all say, what the hell are the Steelers doing? How many times are we going to go down this road where a guy looks good and you take him out of position for somebody else? Well, I mean, come on, man. So that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So. My man Somber says, I heard Howard got reps with the third team O against the starting D. It went as expected. I believe he has one completion. I mean, Somber, we talked about this yesterday. I don't want to get into a ton of the Will Howard stuff today, but I think everybody, I mean, I don't want a bunch of people talking about Will Howard. And I know, Somber, you're not one of those people that do. I just don't want a bunch of people talking about how Will Howard is the savior of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And oh, man, he's got to get all these reps. I'm like, just relax, man. Give him some time. Let him develop a little bit. But, and I say this again, not as a disrespect to him, but he was a 6th-round pick in a bad quarterback draft. That has to tell people at least something. And I know every time you bring it up, oh, he's Brock Purdy and Tom Brown. I'm like, man, in the history of the NFL, 8.7% of quarterbacks taken in the 6th round or later have ended up being starters. 8.7%. I mean, Jesus. So if it doesn't happen, I don't want everybody to think that he's a bust. We just have to relax. But that's, again, it's a different story for a different day. So we get it. Oh, well. Let's move on. Roman Wilson. I know there's been a ton of talk about wide receiver number 2, and there should be. There should be a ton of talk about wide receiver 2. So, and Roman Wilson has, I don't know if the Steelers have said it's your job to lose, but Roman Wilson hasn't taken a snap and at the slot position in the last 2 days. Everything has been at out wide receiver, either with the first group or the second group. And I think the Steelers are saying, this is your job to get. We're giving you every opportunity to win it. And actually, I kind of like that. I like that because I said it last year. I think the Steelers want Roman Wilson to be that guy. And they didn't get to see it because of injury and a lot of other things. Okay, great. Now we get a do-over. The difference is he understands how to be a professional. He's gone through, I shouldn't say a training camp because he didn't go through training camp last year. He went through 4 days, basically what he's gone through this year. And then the first day of pads, he got hurt the middle of practice and was out for over 2 months with an ankle injury. So he understands at least how to be a pro, how NFL practices go. They're giving him every opportunity to win this job. They're giving him every opportunity. Now, whether he does or not, okay. But I think they wanted him to win it last year, and I think they want him to win it again this year. So, but the last 2 days, he has not taken a snap that was not in, or as far as a wide receiver, too. Technically, the flanker position. Hasn't taken a snap in the slot, which that's good. That's good. You know, I like that they're giving him that opportunity. And we knew it. You know, we talked about it on here several times. It's like, you know, when the Steelers, when they got Aaron Rodgers, I was like, they're not going to make another move to go get a wide receiver. They're going to wait to see what they've got because they drafted Roman Wilson to play. They didn't draft him not to play. They drafted him in the 3rd round to play. They're going to give him an opportunity to win the job and to be the guy that they thought he could be. Okay. Same thing with Broderick. Give Broderick an opportunity. But if he can't stay on the field, that's a different conversation. And if we have somebody on the roster that's better than you, hey, sorry. Well, I don't know that the Steelers necessarily have a guy on the roster that's better than Roman Wilson, at least not as of yet. A lot of things are going to change starting on Tuesday of next week. I've said it before. I'll say it again. When pads come on, things change, people. You know, and I mean, it's so hard to judge offensive linemen blocking without pads. I mean, it's insane. We'll talk more about that on Monday at 7 Central, 8 Eastern on the live that we do. But either way, yeah, things are going to change. I'm excited for this opportunity that Roman Wilson has. I'm really excited for it. So, because if he and I'll be honest, if he wins the job, isn't that what we want as Steeler fans? Like, not for them to just settle for him, but if he goes out and has a good camp and wins the job, I think as Steeler fans, that's actually what we want. We want him to win the job. So that's, at least for me. At least for me. My man Tom says, I have hope for Roman. I think my guy from Michigan can show us and give the team something productive. Absolutely. Absolutely. Vegas says if Roman stays out of the tub, he will ball out, is my prediction. I hope so. And the thing about it, he got his hamstring hurt the second injury last year, which, you know, soft tissue injuries are going to be what they are. But I think part of it was he was trying to get back. I don't think he was fully healed from that ankle injury, and he tried to rush it back. And we all know how that happens. You get hurt. You try, even though he was out 2.5 months, hey, maybe it should have been 3 months. Who knows? But he got hurt, didn't work out, you know, and tried to come back early, tears his hamstring or pulls his hamstring, whatever the case may be, and it was ugly. So Sommer said, can't wait to see KJ in pads. No, I can't either. I can't either. What I want to see, and again, we'll talk more about this on Monday, is I want to see backs versus backers, and I want to see my man KJ. I want to see him, and then, you know, with Patrick Queen. Let's see that. That's what I want to see. My man, Mr. Dodd, with the super chat, said, pads show us who you really are. Yeah, they do. You know, I always remember, and, you know, for us here in the chat, people that played football, you always remember those early practices, you know, with just your helmets on. And then the first day of pads, you could always tell the difference between guys that wanted to be there and guys whose dads made them be there. Y'all remember those days. Well, clearly this is something different with NFL players, you know, but pads are different, man. Guys look different. You see those shirt and those helmet and shorts guys, those short superstars, you know, Hall of Famers in shorts. You put the pads on, they shouldn't even be out there. We're going to see some of that. But I'm excited about our main man, you know, our main man, Roman Wilson, getting his opportunity that the Pittsburgh Steelers are saying, go win the job. We're going to put you in a position to where you can go win the job. Okay, great. Go win it. So Mr. Dodd says, YA Black and pads should be interesting. YA Black had a good day today, people. Knocked down 2 passes. His thing is he's not going to be some big pass rusher. He's not a guy that's going to line up and get you 7, 8 sacks a year. That's never going to be his thing. Never, ever, ever. He's a run stuffer, a disruptor. And you know what? If you don't get his hands down, he'll knock down a pass or 2. Okay. He did it twice today. That's what we need out of him. That's what we need out of him. Had a good day today. Good day today. So, Somber said, apparently Gainwell and Wilson matchup is supposed to turn head. Should be fun. That was what Mike Tomlin said today after practice. He's looking forward to that. He's looking forward to Gainwell and Peyton Wilson in coverage. Now, he didn't mention 7 shots. He talked about in coverage. So, I'll be interested to see that too. What's going on, Tyrone? Appreciate you being in here. So, the battered man, I finally made it. I got notification. I'm so excited. Great job, guys. A little late. Nah, man, you're never late. You're here. That's all that matters, man. You are here. We appreciate you being in here and supporting the channel the way that you do, man. Thank you very much. So, Derek Grinder said, ready to see what the D-line is going to do against the run. Last year was rough. Look, I mean, I'm interested too. Every indication as of right now. Now, again, I just told you it's tough for offensive linemen to play in shirts and shorts. It is. It's tough. The D-line should be good. I'll just say that. The defense in general should be good. But y'all know me. You know what I said. Top 5 or better. As much money as we're spending on a defense, I need top 5 or better. I don't want 6. I don't want 7. I want the number 5 defense or better. Period. I'm not going back off of it. Not going back off of it. So, I'm excited to see it. Somber says, yeah, as far as routes, I'm assuming you're talking about our main man, Roman Wilson. Tom says, pads bring out the thunder in players and show who wants it more. Can't wait. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. I'm excited. Leonard Patrick Queen against KJ. I'd pay money to see that. Nah, if you just go to training camp, you don't have to pay money, Mr. Dodd. Don't pay money for that. Don't pay money for it, brother. Don't do it. Don't you do it. And I'm just messing. So, Ruben Leo says, how was Jono looked and the new 12 personnel? Jono Smith didn't look good today. I'll throw that out there. Dropped a couple of passes, had another one stripped out of his hand. Jono didn't have a great practice today. Missed the first 2 days of practice. Yesterday was okay, but hasn't looked great coming out the gates. But again, we'll see more as the week goes on. I mean, he's a veteran. It maybe takes him a few days to get up to speed. You know what I mean? So it just might take him a few days to get up to speed. So, but we'll see what happens. Yes, that's exactly right. He dropped a few passes. Correct. Yeah, he didn't look good today. He did not look good today. That's exactly right. But that doesn't mean, it's still early. Let's talk at the end of next week what people look like after a week of pads. Then let's get into it a little bit. Then we'll figure some stuff out. I'm excited. But it is what it is. Hey, Miss Brenda Webb, how are you doing? We appreciate you being in here. Thank you very much. So, absolutely. ROC Taylor made an appearance today, ladies and gentlemen. I know a lot of people had been asking about Rock Taylor. What's he doing? Where's he at? Where's he been? Anybody hear anything from him? The first 3 days of practice, he was invisible. First 3 days, didn't get a lot of opportunities and didn't really hear much from him. Today, different day. Today, he got a few opportunities and he cashed in. Made 3 catches today in 7-on-7 and team drills. Couple of dig routes, which, hell, for the life of me, and I'll just be honest. When's the last time you seen a Pittsburgh Steeler wide receiver run a dig route, get the ball thrown to him, and make a catch? I can't remember. And I'm not trying to be funny either. I literally just can't remember the last time that a Steelers receiver ran a dig route, got the ball thrown to him, and he caught it. Can't remember the last time that happened, ladies and gentlemen. Partly because the Steelers receivers weren't good enough, including George Pickens, because his route tree was limited. Also, the offense didn't call for that, which I always question any offense that a damn dig route is not a staple in is insane. Quarterback's not throwing the ball. Shoo. So, but it happened. Rock Taylor made a sighting. We'll see. We'll see. You know, I think he's got an opportunity to do a little something. He's got an opportunity, but he's a long shot to make the football team. Let's just say that. Is that Rock Taylor is a long shot to make the team. Doesn't mean he won't, doesn't mean he can't. But if I were going to give odds, I'd say his odds of making the team at best right now, again, before any pads or anything, but as of right now, is about 25 to 30%. That's all I'm going to give him at this point in time. At the end of next week, after pads, it could look different. I could say, you know what, 75%. So you just don't know yet. You just don't know yet. All I know is he didn't do much of anything the first 3 days. Today he did. So who knows? Who knows what could happen, man? Who knows? But I'm excited about it. Miss Felicia, how are you doing? She said, man, injuries are going to be the death of this team. No more Band-Aid drops. No more Band-Aids. Drop them if they're having reoccurring issues. Sorry, not sorry. Hey, Big B. Now, you know, it just depends on, number one, who it is and what the injury is. Because, again, this is a business, and you can't keep everybody. And if guys continuously get hurt, yeah, I mean, but it depends on who it is, you know. But injuries are just part of it, man. Soft tissue injuries are just part of it. You know, it's just the way football works. It's the way sports work in general, because our bodies aren't built to do the things that we are doing when we're playing these sports. Football especially. You know, our bodies aren't built to push another man against his will, to try to move him out of a space or tackle somebody or be tackled. It's just not the way our bodies are built. So there's going to be injuries, unfortunately. But I don't know if we can just get rid of everybody. But I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. The battered man. I heard Kent didn't get much time today, or seventh rounder was a depth chart thing or something he did wrong because everyone's been high on him. No, Kent had some good time today. Dante Kent looked good. Now, I'll say this. He didn't get a ton of time, but when he was out there, he looked amazing. Again, it's the 4th day in a row that Dante Kent's looked good. That's why I keep saying, and I said it yesterday, Benny Bishop's going to have a hard time making this football team, ladies and gentlemen. There's just not enough spots. That you start counting corners, well, the Steelers are going to probably keep 6. Okay, you got Ramsey, JPJ, Slay. There's 3. Okay. Brandon Echols has looked phenomenal all week. He looked phenomenal in OTAs, mini camp, and the first 4 days of training camp. There's 4. Okay, now what are we doing? You got Corey Trice, you got Beanie Bishop, you got Dante Kent. You know somebody's name that you haven't really heard at all is Beanie Bishop. So, but again, things will change next week. Things will change next week. We'll see what happens next week. When the pads get put on and they start popping, we will find out a little bit more. But that's tough. It's going to be tough. But those four I expect to make the team. Obviously, Slay, Ramsey, and JPJ, those are no-brainers. But I think Brandon Echols, when the Steelers signed him, I was saying, yeah, this guy's going to make the team. He's started a lot of games for the Jets. When DJ Reed got hurt, it was Brandon Echols that started, and he was pretty good. Like, this guy's making the football team. Yeah, he's gonna. So we'll see. We were all on Beanie Bishop last year. We were big fans of him making the team. Beanie better learn to play special teams very, very good, because if not, I'm not sure he makes it. So, but we'll see. We will 100% see. So, the battered man says, can I ask a question? Are we supposed to be tapping the screen? Yeah, tap the screen, man. Absolutely. Appreciate it. Let's get as many people in here as possible. So, thank you for your support. Felicia, yes, Kenny Pickett looked good in camp and garbage during the long run. Fall in love with camp play is going to have you crying. I mean, Felicia, you are not lying. Do you know the excitement of Pittsburgh Steeler fans at the beginning of 2023? It was incredible. The amount of joy, because Kenny Pickett had a perfect passer rating. The offense looked great. I mean, up and down the field. We were so happy, so excited for what the offense looked like in 2023 at the beginning of the season. And then the first game happened against the 49ers. And we looked like the play calling looked elementary. The quarterback play looked elementary. The offensive line looked elementary. It was all bad. And our optimism for the offense went literally out the door that game. By halftime, we were like, okay. Oh, ugly. So, nah, Derek, it wasn't just you, man. It was all of us. Don't blame yourself. It was all of us. We all thought that Baby Hands was the guy. He was not the guy. Yeah, they were blown out by San Fran, Tom. Absolutely. Not only that, remember the Patrick Peterson experiment? I think every Pittsburgh Steeler fan, they were a little skeptical, but they thought, you know what? He's a future Hall of Famer. He'll be able to give us something. First game, Brandon Ayuk made him look like a high school player, and everybody jumped off the bandwagon of Patrick Peterson, and they should have, because he could no longer play football at an NFL level. And we were like, holy smokes. So it was tough, man. It was tough. But I don't feel that way this year, though. I don't feel that way. So I don't feel like that. But we'll see. Now, this is a good point here by my man Charles. He says that I truly believe that number 90 will get Defensive Player of the Year this year. And some people are going to think, well, come on. Well, hold on. And I know you're going to say, no, hold on, Big B. Your philosophy is guys play well the year that they get paid, or the year before they get paid, and they take a step back after they get that contract that first year. That is our philosophy on Steelers Almighty. I'm not going to lie. But with TJ, it's different. You remember the last time TJ got paid. What did he do? He set the sack record. So he's different than the mold. You know, he's a little different than the norm. You pay me, I'm going to show you why you paid me. Great. Love it. TJ's different. He's different. Because we're the first. We will call people out and be the first people to call somebody out when we up. Yep, he got paid. Look at him. Look at him. Had 14 sacks the year before. Now he's got 3. Look at him. And we're also quick to say, look, contract year. Been averaging 6 sacks, averaging 5 sacks. Contract year, 25 sacks, 50 sacks. Like, wow. So it is what it is, man. It is what it is. So, but we'll see. We will see. I'm excited to see what TJ Watt's going to do this year. I think he's going to do a lot. I really think he's going to do a lot, But the first 4 days, ladies and gentlemen, look, the defense has ruled the day. The offense played a little better today because the defense dominated them yesterday. But first 4 days, it's been a defensive orient, and it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be. We didn't get through it injury-free. Broderick Jones got hurt. Isaac Siamalo was already hurt. I don't know. We'll see. At least Ryan McCollum was out there because, remember, he was hurt. He got into a little scuffle with Nick Herbig today. I like the fight. I didn't like that somebody's helmet got ripped off. I don't like that. But I don't mind training camp fights. I don't mind training camp pushing and shoving. I don't mind any of that stuff. I do mind if somebody's helmet gets ripped off. Now you're going too far. You're going too far. Because, maybe every single person on the team may not make the team, but sometimes that guy that you're ripping his helmet off and trying to punch is going to end up being your teammate. Yeah, you're going too far. The pushing, the shoving, the grabbing, all that stuff, I'm all for it. The cussing, all that stuff, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. But when you go to ripping a guy's helmet off, now you're trying to inflict real damage on somebody, and you're going too far. You're going too far. There's no reason to rip a guy. I don't care what he did. Unless the guy intentionally tried to take your knees out or something like that, that's a different conversation. Different situation entirely. But I don't think that happened. So that's kind of where we are, man. We will be live tomorrow night, 8 Eastern, 7 Central. The Steelers have a day off from practice, so we're not going to be live right after they practice. Just to keep in mind with our schedule, to let people know, there's a couple people that was asking in the chat what the schedule is. We are going to go live after every Steelers practice at 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 Central. Steelers get done with practice, gives us about 45 minutes to an hour to get stuff ready, and then we're going to go live right after that. So in case you're wondering, every day in this training camp that the Steelers are practicing, we are going to be live at 5 Eastern, 4 Central to kind of give you the updates on what's what of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So we appreciate everybody that showed up today. If you want to become a member, you know how to do that. There's a link right there in the chat, man, for you guys to click on and become a member. If you get to the all-pro level or higher, you get to be a part of our all-22 group where we break down the all-22 of every Pittsburgh Steelers game. If you go to the top tier level, though, then you have a ton of fun because then you get to be a part of our live streaming of every Pittsburgh Steeler game, watching the game with me, reactions. We're talking back and forth, going back. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. So make sure you guys sign up to that to become members. Other than that, man, decent first week. But the real stuff happens on Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen. It happens on Tuesday. So cannot wait. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for always showing up, man. Love you guys, and aloha.